Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever been in, say, a professional development session, maybe a training workshop, even just a meeting, and the content just felt completely out of sync with how your mind works? Like the instructions just didn't click with your own, intuitive way of knowing things.
Absolutely. It happens more often than we think.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into an experience exactly like that. It's shared by an educator, first day back to school.
And it's a really vivid personal account, isn't it? It shows what happens when the map of learning, maybe even professional growth, just doesn't include your country, so to speak.
Right. And also, the pretty ingenious ways this person navigated a system that, well, it just didn't seem to recognize their way of knowing as valid.
Get ready for some maybe surprising facts and perhaps a few aha moments.
Definitely. About how we learn, how we teach, and how our brains make sense of the world, or sometimes how they rebel against it.
So let's set the scene.
Okay.
First day back for this teacher, big school, LA. But it's not teaching yet. It's that district-mandated PD professional development.
Right, the ceremonial start. And they mentioned, even though the school was nearby, physically close, it felt like a different country entirely.
Wow. And the room itself didn't help, did it?
No. Described as a windowless humming room.
Ugh.
Complete with vaguely sticky tables and the smell of institutional floor cleaner.
Paints a picture, doesn't it? Not exactly inspiring.
Not at all. So, in that setting, the PD theme is announced. Rigor by design, not chance.
Sounds official.
It does. Kind of grand. But the author found it
Wow.
deeply problematic. What was it about this specific idea of rigor that felt so wrong to them?
Well, they said it sounded like something engraved on a plaque in a business park lobby. The intention might have been good, but the actual experience, hours of being talked at.
About what specifically?
About the magic of asking probing questions, aligning everything to these depth of knowledge matrices.
The DOK.
Yeah, exactly. And hitting those standards for mathematical practice, the SMPs.
Right, so for anyone listening, DOK is about cognitive complexity, like recall versus
Strategic thinking. And SMPs are those broader math habits, like constructing arguments or precision.
Correct. But the author's point is that these frameworks, while maybe meanwhile, outside, it's Los Angeles in August. You've got heat, pressure, politics. The author mentions creeping state violence, things like ICE raids, militarization.
Wow.
And schools are just expected to absorb all this societal fallout.
So that feeling of dissonance, it wasn't just boredom, it was this feeling that the PD was completely out of touch.
Exactly. Busy work dressed as vision, while real human needs were right outside the door.
That feeling, that dissonance, it really leads us straight to the core issue here, doesn't it?
The invisibility of this educator's own way of knowing.
Mm-hmm.
They identify as autistic and a gestalt language processor, a GLP.
And that was the fundamental problem. The PD, its examples, it was a mismatch so total, it's almost comical, according to the author, because that idea of struggle relies on breaking things down, decoding, recombining, step by step.
Which is not how GLPs operate.
Not at all. GLP knowing is described as fast, whole, pattern first. It's often pre-verbal, embodied, intuitive. It's just a different way the brain is wired.
So if productive struggle means showing your work, breaking it down, what happens if you just see the answer instantly?
Exactly. What about, as the author puts it, the kid who has the answer because they saw it all in one go but can't backtrack through the steps because there were no steps?
Right. Or the student whose explanation might be a metaphor. or a drawing.
Or even just a gesture, or maybe nothing verbal at all, just a quiet, I know, and they're right.
What happens to those kids, those ways of knowing in a system designed like this, PD?
Well, the author's conclusion is pretty stark. They're erased before they even sit down.
Wow.
Their way of knowing is treated as invisible, basically non-existent.
And trying to force that intuitive, holistic knowing into a linear, analytical box
Is like trying to unbake a cake. That's the author's powerful analogy.
It really drives it home.
Yeah. And the takeaway is that this kind of PD, focused on this narrow view of rigor, ends up promoting a performance of understanding, not the real thing.
Okay, so when the outside world, this PD system, is asking you to essentially unbake a cake, what happens inside? How do you cope with that?
Well, that's where this internal rebellion comes in. It's quite something.
Tell us about it. The author talks about feeling this sense of erosion, right? Like their mind is getting slippery.
Yeah, as a direct result of the PD. And the coping mechanism, drifting into this half daydream.
A daydream where things get interesting.
Oh, yeah, where the absurdity of it all tips over into sitcom territory. The mind literally creates an escape.
So who shows up in this internal sitcom?
It's brilliant. First, there's Rick from The Young Ones. Remember him?
The anarchist poet.
Yes. So Rick is there, mentally scribbling rude cartoons on the handout.
Of course he is.
Muttering that the DOK chart looks like a blueprint for a prison, and suggesting that Hess, presumably the person behind the rigor framework they were using, has a metaphorical box for all the interesting ways of knowing, sealed up with duct tape.
Wow. Vivid. Who else?
Well, then Viv, the punk character, is there too.
Cutting up his paper?
Cutting his paper into a jagged crown, yeah. And declaring he's achieved maximum volume by filling it with crisps or maybe custard.
Maximum volume.
And he just wants to make the polynomial explode. Pure Viv.
This is amazing. Anyone else join the party?
Oh, yes. Just as the facilitator gets to productive struggle, Jerzy Grotowski, the theater director, apparently barges into the author's mind.
Jerzy Grotowski. Okay.
Carrying a stolen staff room quiche, no less.
The quiche.
And announces the copier is jammed because someone tried to feed it a graphic organizer. And he declares the whole PD is just performance art for administrators.
It's like an entire counter-narrative playing out internally.
Totally. And then for the grand finale, the band Madness just starts skanking across my mental stage.
Madness. Okay, so what's the point of all this internal chaos in these characters?
The author is clear. It's to reclaim a bit of my own mind. It's a way to remind themselves that this thing being sold as rigor isn't neutral, it isn't universal, and it certainly isn't built for everyone.
It's a reminder that it's okay to feel like this doesn't fit.
Exactly, that it's not madness to want something better.
That mental escape. It sounds both hilarious and kind of essential
For survival in that situation.
Definitely. It's like if the room has no windows, your mind builds its own.
Yeah. And the author is careful to point out, this isn't about blaming colleagues, right?
What keeps this machine grinding?
Well, connecting the dots, the author suggests looking at who benefits.
Okay.
Someone, somewhere, is profiting from this. Maybe it's the consultants, the publishers. They mentioned seeing a whole pallet of Hess's books to hand out like rations.
So there's an economy around these frameworks.
It seems so. But the fundamental issue, the one felt so deeply that day, was that the entire PD was organized around the ALP mind.
ALP, Analytic Language Processor.
Yeah.
The
Counterpart to GLP.
Exactly. Linear, verbal, step by step. Explain your reasoning in bullet points or else.
And the impact of sitting through hours of that when your mind works differently.
The
When our systems, and it's not just schools, when they're built with only one type of mind in view,
They inevitably shut others out. It's not just classrooms. Think about meetings, workflows, maybe even just how we expect people to communicate socially.
and what's really striking is that internal resistance, that mental escape hatch the author created.
Finding those windows and mirrors
intuitive way of knowing things gets dismissed? Or you feel you have to perform understanding in a way that doesn't feel authentic?
Because it doesn't fit some predefined mold.
Yeah.
Better ways of collaborating might emerge.
If we truly value the full spectrum of how human beings know and understand